Well, Mickey, it's hard to believe that here we are at the end of another summer. And as we're wrapping up this summer refreshment series, just love to hear your thoughts of what do you really hope that our heads of school have come away with from this summer refreshment series.
Yeah, Brian, it has been an exciting summer. I was thinking this morning, we normally have these conversations when we're in the car driving down the road. We call it road trip karaoke, but we're trying to do this a little bit differently this morning. But I really am excited about this whole series that the Lord has put on our hearts, this idea of the DNA of connected frameworks. And we've tried to kind of give an overview of that concept this summer and kind of walk people around this idea that everything is driven by a strategic plan. It asks real critical questions. What's God called us to do? Where are we in response to his call? Where is he leading us, and how are we going to get there? And if you take those concepts of a strategic plan and realize that strategic plans have to be executed by strategic people. So we talked about that a little while. And then we, acknowledge that unless there is a strategic funding strategy to accomplish a plan, the strategic people are struggling to get it done. And then we kind of wrapped it up with this idea of setting strategic priorities, that the enemy of the strategic is always the urgent. So I'm kind of hoping that as people, if they've read our things and heard our videos this summer, that they've kind of captured this concept of what we call the DNA of strategic frameworks. I think it's a pretty exciting concept.
Great. And, again, we talk about how quickly the summer goes by. We've had a chance to be in a few schools and already feel that tension rising as that sprint out of the blocks has started. What counsel would you give to heads as they hit it going full force in these first critical weeks in the back to school press?
Yeah, I think about my 45+ years of coming off of a summer where time to think. We tend to be more strategic in the summer because we're not driven so much by the tyranny of the urgent. We have a little bit more time. But then in-service starts and football season and volleyball and cheerleading and all the things that begin to dominate the landscape of a school. It's real easy to get caught up in the tyranny of the urgent and lose contact with the strategic. And so my counsel would be stay strategic. Back to that whole concept of strategic priorities. Keep your team going back to what is most important. What does God call us to do? Where are we? Where is he leading? How we're going to get there? In the midst of the urgent, keep coming back to the strategic.
Well, we feel like we continue to refine the focus, the emphasis in our practice, and so much of that comes from conversations that you and I love to have, that we continue to have with other heads of school. And, we're really kind of honing in on this idea of frameworks that work, as well as really a head-to-head type approach. Talk a little bit about what we'll be able to convey over these next few months in our e-blast, and again, what you hope will be of benefit to heads of school.
Yeah, Brian, one of the things that excites me most about our partnership and the work that we've been able to do is that we've both been heads of school, and we've worked with tons of other heads of school. And so it's exciting to me that that we do talk head of school to head of school. We've walked in these guys' shoes. We know the pressures. We can feel it. We still feel it. And so it excites me that God is allowing us the opportunity of as heads of school to talk directly to heads of schools. And I think that may be one of the driving features of Bowdon Miller is the experience we've had in the schools that we've worked and what we've learned from just listening to heads of school and feeling what they feel and walking with them. And so we want to continue that whole, I guess you would call it a theme of head to head. And so we'll see that in our future e-blast. Our website has been redesigned to kind of address some of these, the DNA of connected frameworks. We're planning to offer some head-to-head conferences where we walk through the putting meat on the skeletons of these frameworks, and we'll keep you posted on those opportunities. But we're just excited to continue this frameworks that work communicated head to head.
And that's really, again, amazing. I think even for both of us that we began with this idea of being shepherds and really listening, guiding, and equipping. And here now, almost 4 years later, those are still critical elements for us, but we really want to communicate effectively this next year, frameworks that work in doing that in a head-to-head context. And we look forward to working with a number of schools in that regard this next year.
Yeah, Bryan, I think we've probably learned